Hey everybody, welcome to the show. So Foodie did a video today. I didn't get the chance to go over it until now, so we're gonna go over it together. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. And we are gonna get straight into it. So hey everybody. Welcome Mary. Hey Jack T, Gigi, Cyrilli, Mary Beth, Jen Puff, Jackie H, Fish, Janine M, Pia, Susie Q, Mary, Just Curious, Key, Lindsay, Marie, Natsuki, what's up? And everybody else just listening. Let me share my screen and we'll go. Hey there, Felicity. Welcome. All right. All right, let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This feels weird because it's like a sit down and talk video, and I haven't made one of these in a little while, but I like doing them once in a while just to talk
Hey,
about
Tudor
certain
Times.
subjects. So today's subject is going to be
Hey, Lady
cultural
DMA.
differences.
Hey, Shara.
I get asked a lot to talk about cultural differences between here and Canada. If you're new here, I am Canadian. I'm from Ottawa, Ontario. Born and raised in Canada, and I recently married a Syrian man, Salah.
Welcome, Diane.
He is Syrian. He was born and raised in Kuwait. So I'm currently in Kuwait,
Okay.
and I get asked a lot, basically, if there's any kind of culture shock. So I'm sure you guys want to know my
Hey, Core.
perception of the society, how I compare things with the Western world where I'm from, and what it's just been like for me on this journey so far. Honestly, there's not as much culture shock as I imagined because I did do some research before I came here.
She did research, yet she took videos of oil fields and she did PDA in her videos. That's doing research, right? Shiara, what's up?
Out of respect, I always want to be respectful of different cultures and their customs. So, if I ever travel anywhere, it's going to be important for me to respect these differences. To me, differences, especially cultural, are not bad. It's just that they're differences and that's what they are. So I try to embrace everything and try to understand everything that I can. We don't always have to agree with things
Okay, yeah.
when
Hey,
things
Mrs.
are
J.
different and we're not
Nesquik
used to them
Milk.
or things we don't understand, but
Marie,
it's still
Lilith.
important to respect.
Gemini.
So I'm going to talk about some things, some misconceptions I believed before coming here, some
All
things
right,
that I
let's hear
found
it.
very different, and then some things that some information I got from the Kuwait visa website, which makes sense. It's where you can go and get an e-visa from a select list of countries. If your country's on there, you can apply online to get a tourist visa here.
Ooh, you see, I think she's gonna go over the visa stuff since it's a point of contention right now with her. Hey, One Small Moose, welcome.
Kuwait is a lot more open to tourism than it was in the past, and
Facts, Jen Puff.
compared to a lot of other Middle Eastern countries as well. But the information was on the website probably to prepare travelers from different parts of the world as to what you can expect when it
Hey,
comes to
Lilith.
different cultural customs here. So I'll just share some of this information with you if you are thinking of coming here because this place is beautiful as you've seen from our vlogs. The beaches, everything, just the food, the people are so friendly. It's amazing here. So, yes, let's get
Mm-hmm.
into it.
Okay.
That's kind of going to be all over the place in my style of doing a video. But anyway, one of the biggest things I was surprised about, I thought for some reason, probably like a lot of people, I was ignorant a lot when it came to thinking of the Middle East. I thought of like everyone in the Middle East just being like much poorer than
She even thought that when she was right on the plane, landing, literally. She thought her money would hold up really well in Kuwait, and it just didn't. And all she had to do was just do her research. T with Topanga says she did no research, she knows nothing. I think, yeah, the research that she's talking about right now is what she has been doing. Lindsay says, from your heavy breathing vlogs I've seen, your closet you live in. Yes.
Canada or the US. And it's just like
Thank you, Pia, for the super sticker. Appreciate this. Thank you so much.
a really small way of thinking, but that's how I thought. And I thought, oh, like I'm Canadian, my money's gonna go a long way there. And it's actually like Kuwait is like the fifth richest country in the world, um, from what I read.
Mm-hmm.
But their currency is worth a lot more than Canadian money. So, like,
Yep.
for example, 1 KD equals like 4.4 Canadian dollars. So, if you do the math, so yeah, when it comes to money, I just try not to really deal with it as much as I can because it really confuses me.
Exactly, Janine. I think she got a shock, which, you know what, just came into my head? Maybe she didn't feel that she needed to make a lot of money for from October. That's why she maybe did few live streams and few videos because she's like, hey, my money is gonna go far. I don't need to do as much videos and live streams as I did back home. And then she got shocked that her money wasn't gonna go far. Lilith Lay says, did research that's rich, right?
And my money's not worth much here, so it's better to like save as much as I can just for when I'm in Canada because it's just worth more there.
Thank you
The other
again,
thing
Pia.
I won't do here is drive. I've already talked about that in my live streams ad nauseum, so I'm not going to talk about that. But I do not want to drive here. We'll just leave that up to Sala. So,
Is that red
another thing I
sequence?
found different is the reversal of
Hey, Lindsay.
weather, uh, climate changes. Obviously, it's so hot here. Right now, it's winter months here. So it's actually in like the 20s, but the sun is really hot during the day sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
at night, it's really nice out. It's like in the 20s, it's perfect weather, not too humid most times. But in the summer, it's unbearable up to like 60. I think I heard like 60 to 3 degrees Celsius. You could fry an egg on the ground.
Hey,
Most
Vanessa.
people, the weather is not comfortable in the summer here to where people tend to live inside the malls, inside their homes with air conditioning. There's AC
Right.
everywhere, cars, jobs. It's just you
Of
wouldn't be able to.
course.
It would be like living in Canada in the winter months without a heater.
Mary says, do we still think she was catfished and Stella promised her the world and then come to realize he lived in a shoebox? Yeah, I think there was some of that, but there was also her catfishing him in terms of what she really looked like. Antonis, welcome to the show. How you doing? Where is Stella?
That's it's
Good
very
question.
very opposite that way. In Canada, a lot of the time it'll go down to like minus 30, 35 sometimes. You can't be outside for very long in that. You need to be in the heat. Here it's the reverse. It's so hot you need to be in the AC.
Exactly, Janine.
And because of that, certain things are different. Like camping in the winter here. We don't camp in the winter in Canada. We camp in the summer. Um, Things like corn, certain things that are in harvest, like corn is really big in the winter here, more at the end of summer
Oh,
in Canada.
nice.
Mating season for animals, for cats, um, winter, and in Canada it's in the spring, beginning of summer. So just like little
Oh,
differences like that, I
okay.
find very interesting. Will say, and again, this information, I say this with utmost respect to Kuwaiti Arab culture in general.
Sarah Lee says people tend to live inside their homes there, right? It's like, yeah, foodie. People do tend to live inside their homes. That's what it's
It's
for.
very different. It's very different with values. It's a very, this, at least Kuwait, very conservative values, very conservative country. It's an Islamic country. 75% of people are Muslim. However, there are different religions here, and that remaining 25% of people are allowed to practice freely. You have seen in the grocery stores the Santa Claus, the Bath and Body Works had Christmas things. So they do have different, they have respect for people who want to practice different religions,
Back, Stella.
though mostly they
Amazing.
practice in their homes or things like that. It's predominantly Muslim. So, because it's an Islamic country, they practice Ramadan here. They take it very seriously. And during the month of Ramadan, even as a foreigner, anyone who lives here, um, and again, if you're traveling here, please keep in mind if you're here during the month of Ramadan,
Yeah, please tell us, foodie.
a very religious month for Muslims, and there are laws. that will put you in jail if you don't respect them. Even as a foreigner, you
Uh
need to be
huh.
respectful of that. I fully understand that. I don't have a problem with that. Someday I would like to try Ramadan. You have to fast until sundown. So if you're seen in public chewing gum, drinking, eating, unless you have like a medical exemption or something like that, mostly if you do, you still don't go in public. I think it's custom to just stay in the home,
Right.
but you can be fined or arrested for not respecting those laws.
Marie asks, what's going to happen to her the first time she rages at Salah? Yikes. Yeah, I think we already saw something like that. That's why she was allegedly, supposedly, to go home the end of November, and then all of a sudden it changed.
Just like anywhere, if you don't respect the laws, you're gonna be in trouble, right? Some other things that are illegal in Islamic culture, things that are considered haram, such anti-Muslim. So things like pork products,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, marijuana,
Yeah.
drugs, anything like that.
Just like the curse she was drinking last Friday. Remember that? Not even a week ago.
It's also haram for Muslims to have dogs as pets in their home. So I know that you guys, a lot of you in the Western world, really love pets. I have cats. I love my cats. But having cats in the home is fine. It's not. I haven't. It's not usual. Just pets in general. In a lot of parts of the world, it's like that. But the Western world, we love our pets. But here, dogs, if they're useful, like
Right,
hound
Lilith?
dogs for hunting, police work, gathering sheep, things like that.
Yeah, she can totally practice Ramadan in Canada as well. So it's not where she's currently living. If she really wants to do and practice what she's currently doing and practicing, then she could definitely do in Canada. There's tons of people I know that observe Ramadan and will be observing the next Ramadan, a month of Ramadan next year.
Um, that's permitted, but to have a dog in the home, it's is haram. So that is why you see them in the zoo with other animals. On the other hand, that's very different from where I come from, but you don't realize it until you realize Canada's very secular, which means that there's no government mixing with religion to govern the country. I will say it's a lot more peaceful here in a lot of ways. I think that my personal belief is because of these laws in place, the big conservative placement of value, um, respect.
True
I
Tiger
think a lot of
Talks.
the reasons that alcohol and drugs and things like that are haram is because it's damaging to the mind and body and to the spirit. And if you're religious, you value God and you value yourself, you won't want to hurt yourself with substances. And that has been really meaningful in my journey to recovery as an addict, um, which I do still struggle with, just um, mostly with food here and there. But when I was back at home and substances are readily available, you can overindulge on
Right,
everything over
Mary?
there. And it's it's a different vibe. Like again, I've heard people say it's it's there's so many like big malls and things, so it's like flashy like Vegas, but minus the debauchery. And I have to agree with that. You don't see people falling over drunk here.
She has not talked about the film laws yet.
Um, throwing up on the street, making jerks of themselves, and it's you just don't you just
ABM?
don't see it here, and it's a very peaceful vibe. You hear the prayer on the street, people just respecting everything. And I don't know, I find it very peaceful here in a way that I guess unless you live it, you don't really might not really understand it.
Facts,
That's why I like
Lindsay.
traveling the world and being more interested in different cultures, because it opens your mind to a lot of things that you never
Okay.
would think about living in the same geographical location
She's a traveler now because she went to Cuba. Really?
for your whole life. And I will say I do see a lot of comments. People are in disbelief with a past like my own, coming from such an open place. With a past like mine, how can we make it work? And I have to say, Sal has been nothing but just like so open to, he
Sure.
sees the changes in me, he's supportive of it, and he actually helps. Like I've said many times, being with someone who
Oh
helps
boy.
you on this healing process, recognizes that you have a good heart and a willingness to change
We've heard this all before.
and respect yourself more. And it's just made such a difference in this journey. I'm not perfect and I'm still struggling sometimes. Change is not linear and it's not overnight. If everyone's patient with me, I think I'm on the right track. I feel it. One thing, speaking of acceptance and
True
friendliness and
Gemini.
big hearts, is how welcoming people are. One of the cultural customs is hospitality. People are so nice. And even
Uh-huh.
people here who have hardly anything, or just even if they're struggling, or even if, and no matter what walk of life or financial situation they have, if you are welcomed into someone's home, they will treat you like royalty. They will share their best food with you. They will just be so friendly
Hey
and
Amy Judy.
welcoming. And it's just, I mean, like you've seen on my live stream, neighbors will bring us like olives at midnight, or just anytime they cook, they think of you, they bring you food. And
Yeah, the neighbors again. Lady Demon says Tien says Skater if Salah is not into her and the marriage is a sham, right? Can you imagine if authorities come to her place and realize that they're living together and that their marriage isn't even real? Can you imagine that? Because that kind of makes sense now. Because if they're living at the parents' place, because a lot of people are saying that, because there was the thing about the marriage certificate. If you were gonna stay in an apartment, right, and you're gonna cohabitate, man and woman, you have to show your marriage certificate. And it was puzzling that if this is a sham marriage, why are they able to do that when all the places would ask for that? And it kind of makes sense that, hey, maybe they're living with his parents and maybe she's in the basement. That does make a lot of sense. And maybe she's not really worried that the authorities will find out that she's been living with a dude she's not married to. That's pretty scary.
so I've kind of learned, okay, you know what? I like this and I'm going to share too. So whenever somebody brings us something and um, the dish is empty, now we fill it with something and give it back. So it's a really, they rely on this kind of community of friendliness to help each other. That being said, I did learn that it's custom. If somebody offers you something in their home, try not to turn it down, because usually they're offering you something they're proud of making or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
we went to someone's home and they offered, I wasn't hungry and I was kind of full because they made us like some food. And I
We're completely hospitable in Canada. She's making it seem as Canada is a bad country, but there's lots of people who are observing Ramadan whenever it is, and there's lots of people who are hospitable, and there's lots of people who are kind of nice.
we just had dinner, but they offered me like on top of that like a fresh banana smoothie, and I was like, with some fresh bananas they just got, and I said no. No thank you. And they kind of looked at me like, like didn't really understand, and then they offered me again later, so I did say yes that time and it was delicious. But also, if you're eating and you don't want to eat anymore, be sure to leave a bit of food on your plate, because they'll just keep filling your plate with food. Like, people really like to feed people here and be nice,
Right?
and it's like a heartwarming feeling I can't explain.
Her
It's
sofa bed
such a
is
peaceful
closed.
culture, peaceful religion. The people are so amazing. And yes, it seems conservative probably to people in the Western world,
Right? Gratitude problem. So many people would love to live in Canada.
but as long as you're respectful, there should be no problem. Same thing if you want, like if you're having coffee, it's custom like after meals to have some tea or Arabic coffee with some like salty seeds, like sunflower seeds or nuts. But if you don't like, this is more for men who do this. Um, Men, if you're done drinking you have to shake your glass because people will just keep filling it. One thing I see a lot is
Right, Mrs. J.
talk about the differences between men and women. So even on the website, the visa website, it does say Kuwait, like a lot of Islamic countries, are predominantly
True jump
patriarchal,
off.
meaning they're male dominated. But I find that Kuwait is a lot more open compared to some countries. Like women can drive
Mm-hmm.
and things like that now. They're in the workforce with equal pay. There are certain things that women and men do separate. And in my blog, that's all that I meant. But I did edit out that part because I felt like I wasn't explaining it properly. First of all, men and women.
Wait a second. What did she say? She edited out what part?
I did edit out that part because
Wait a sec. Let me go back a little bit more.
with equal pay, there are certain things that women and men do separate. And in my blog, that's all that I meant. But I did edit out that part because I felt
Okay.
like I wasn't explaining it properly. First of all, men and women it's custom that they socialize separately,
Hi, Brandy
usually,
Reed.
especially in public. In the home, it's different. In the home, you can do whatever you want. You can dress however you want. You know, you're married, you're together, it's your private home. But in public, there's certain customs. And in my video, I just meant
She edited the part where she said she helped the woman clean at the camp because she didn't help and he made her take it out. Really? Well, we been knew that she wasn't much help or zero help at all because it's kind of obvious. Panda says the same thing. She edited the part she said she helped the women in the kitchen and cleaning. Gotcha. That was kind of obvious she wasn't any help. Pia says she sounds as if she has against her head from the regime.
we were
Yeah.
just doing things separately. Actually, the women can smoke shisha
She it's heavily scripted, is what this is.
if they want to. It's a personal choice. What I'm wearing is a personal choice. Women, I would say there are women, mostly from other cultures. There's a large Indian and Filipino population here. A lot of them don't cover because they're not Arab or they're not Muslim. And the ones who are, though, I usually see them usually always in hijab, or and a lot of women I've seen in niqab as well. So back to the men and women doing separate things. There's actually a custom called Diawania. I had to practice that a few times, so that's maybe why there's a jump cut there.
Uh huh.
Diawania is
What is
gathering
that?
of men at where they socialize,
Hey,
you
Miss
know,
Six Guys.
cafes, smoke shisha together, have drinks, non-alcoholic, and just socialize together. Again, it's very conservative that way, which is why we also deleted some things that I'm learning. So if I do something that's a little bit out of the norm or a little questionable, it's just out of ignorance or just forgetting or not aware at all. I mean, you can prepare and research all you want, but experience is the biggest teacher, right? So I do edit things out of respect or
Yeah, he is, Lindsay.
just to avoid problems in the future.
So she's basically telling you she was with a guy that was Muslim for years of her life and she learned nothing. Can you imagine that? This is literally what she is telling you right now, that she learned nothing when she cohabitated with a guy.
But public displays of affection are very big no-no. Even with the most loving married people, all men and women do not do that in public here with each other. If you do come here, even though you don't have to technically cover your head,
Yeah,
out
it
of
sounds very
respect, they do
scripted.
expect you
It
to
does.
dress conservatively as a woman. So covering your shoulders, covering at least, down to your ankles. I usually go out always in an abaya, sometimes niqab.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sometimes wearing that, but always in hijab. The niqab actually it's comes to here, and the air actually flows under it. It's not
If you
covered
say
like a
so.
mask. So it's not too bad, and it just goes under this with an elastic. So it's actually not that uncomfortable. It's not really uncomfortable actually, and I'm kind of used to this. Sometimes it is hot.
Very true, Bertrand.
I'm overweight and I'm fully covered. So until, it took some getting used to, but I'm getting a lot more used to it. And being here in the winter is so much better. From what I'm told, I don't think I could stand a summer here, but yeah. All right. So
And I guess she's
that's about
gonna
it for this video.
wrap this up. So why is she dressed like this in the house? Exactly. A lot of people put out this point. She could dress covered without it having to be an abaya. As long as your hair is covered and your body is properly covered, then it doesn't have to be what she's currently wearing. She can be more comfortable.
I think I've said everything I want to say.
Yeah, I think she is reading from
I will be
notes.
doing a lot more videos and a lot more videos talking about my experiences. I do have a weight loss video coming up that will just mostly be me updating you my on that topic in my life because it is a big thing in my life. And yeah, I'll just be coming out with that video at some point, so stay tuned. Also, we are going to be doing more videos on the couples channel, so
Sure.
I will also be doing some live streams while
She,
Sala's at work,
she always says
so
this.
stay tuned for those as well. I really appreciate you guys who are still here. I know that every change I go through in my life, good or bad, I lose people along the way, and that's a lesson for me. It really teaches me who my real friends and supporters are, and
True,
I don't say
Lindsay.
that to try to shame people, but it's just a fact that people come and go in life, and people will, your real friends will be there through no matter what. So, yes, anyways, lots of lessons, but I'll save those for another video. All
Facts, Tara.
right, guys, I've blabbed enough here. And again, very beautiful country in closing. And I'm very glad that I'm here and experiencing it with Sala. So, and you guys along on the journey. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye. Masalama.
And that is it. So this was uninteresting, uninformative. Did she apologize? No, she actually was just explaining a Canadian's culture shock abroad, specifically in Kuwait. There was no apology whatsoever, but I do believe the purpose of this is for damage control. I do believe what she was doing was to explain away certain things. She made sure to edit out certain things in her videos and to make sure, that if anything happens, at least she has this video and she has, edited videos of her not doing what she's not supposed to be doing. The video was cringe, embarrassing, and a bunch of misinformation. Yeah, there was hell of a lot of misinformation there and a lot of generalizations. But welcome to Foodie Beauty. Hey, Miss Hellraiser, how you doing? Good afternoon. You missed it, but you can always watch the replay. She's never apologized in her life except to Nads. Exactly. She will never apologize to anybody, even though when she knows she's in the wrong, except for when it's Nader or some sort of like partner, right? I'm sure she's apologized to Salah and whatnot. But hey, exactly, Mrs. N scared her. Yeah, I think she's scared. I think she's a little bit worried about what kind of contacts there are out there. Yeah, and then she threw shade at Americans, North Americans, Canadians, people in the USA. But that's just Foodie Beauty. This was a pretty short one. I mean, typically if it was like an outing, I'll go over it like a second time. But this is good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave it here. Smash that like button, and I'll be back later. Gratitude problem says at least we aren't being flashed anymore. Exactly. At least that. Pete does that all the time. Yeah, Martinez does. We'll see what Peace has in store for us tonight. But thank you so much for joining me. I know this is short, but sometimes short is sweet. And I'll be back later. Check out my content on my other channels. And yeah, I'll be around. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.